In this video, I want to share an important concept, one that I call the profit mentality versus a paycheck mentality. What do I mean by that? Now, most of us have been conditioned by education and our parents or society to go to school, work hard, earn a living, get paid for it. And so we don't even realize how much that's embedded in us. Unless you were born in an entrepreneurial family and you see it a little different, then maybe you have a better head start. But most people are conditioned to think paycheck instead of profit. So what I want to discuss with you next is the difference in developing the right mentality. So let's talk about what your mentality is. Do you fit in the profit camp or the paycheck camp? And how do you get from one to the other? So in a paycheck mentality, someone else determines your roles, your tasks, and your priorities. In a profit mentality, it's you who determines your own roles and establishes your priorities. We're conditioned to have somebody tell us what to do, mainly because we're looking to not fail. So that's an important component to understand, that you're going to be the one who establishes your priorities. We'll help you, but it's up to you to determine what they are. In a paycheck mentality, you exchange your time and you have immediate return. But in a profit mentality, you have to think a little differently and you have to invest your time for the long-term reward. Let me tell you a story. When I was starting in the business, there were many times when Doug and I were focusing on working our business to launch it when we were college students before we were married. Our goal was, we started in January, and our goal was to have enough income when we graduated in April that I wouldn't have to get a normal job. I could focus on building our Shackley business so that we could use the finances to fund some of our projects that are important to us, especially things that we do in our nonprofit life. So I was still thinking like a paycheck mentality in exchanging my time, do something, get paid for it. But in Shackley, as you'll soon learn, sometimes you're talking to people and you don't know when those seeds are going to be invested, and you may not have an immediate reward, and it's easy to get discouraged. So in those days, I would get to the spot where I would feel sorry for myself that we had to give up a pizza night and a date night because we were building our business in the available time that we had. So I decided, you know what, I'm looking for a long-term reward. So I kind of created this thing, and I would say to myself, it's okay, Charlene, you know what? You're going to be eating pizza in the Piazza Navona. And whenever I feel sorry for myself, because I had a long-term reward in mind, that's what I was looking for. And I can tell you, that first slice of pizza many years ago when I went to Rome for the first time and ate that pizza in that Piazza Navona tasted like heaven. And Italy's one of my favorite places to keep going back to time and time again. And every time I do, I am grateful that I had a long-term reward and I was working for my future and not an immediate return and getting discouraged. Another thing to think about is, in a paycheck mentality, you earn while you learn. But those earnings, for future earnings, are capped because your employer pays you from day one. But as you get better, you don't necessarily get commensurate raises based on what your value is. Where in a profit mentality, you learn in order to earn. And there's an unlimited upside, because the better you get at your skill development, and especially people development, it's unlimited, as you've seen in the Shackley opportunity. With some of us who are at the higher levels, like I'm a presidential master coordinator, I have an unlimited upside, and especially as a female, no one's telling me what I can earn, because I am learning in order to earn. You are paid for your efforts. You show up, put in the hours, and then you go home. But in a profit mentality, it really is a little different. You are paid for results, which means you got to figure it out and try it out until it works. In a paycheck mentality, you practice and you refine a specific skill set for the most part. But in a profit mentality, you cultivate an expanding skill set as needed. It will be the best personal development strategy you have ever embarked. I know from personal experience that when I started, I didn't have the skill sets I've had now, but because of this business, I have a great expanded skill set that I've been able to develop as I focused on leadership. Now, in a paycheck mentality, for the most part, if we're really honest, you learn how to justify or hide your mistakes, or what I call cover your to fill in the blank. In a profit mentality, it's a little bit different. You need to learn from your mistakes. In fact, you're going to learn that what we believe in is to do the opposite. You want to fail fast. You want to fail often. You want to keep learning from that, or that P, it stands for pivot. So fail fast, fail often, and pivot. Go ahead, learn from your mistakes. In a paycheck mentality, you can count on getting paid every 2 weeks. But in a profit mentality, you're the one that's working for yourself. So it's up to you to pay close attention to your bottom line, your profitability, and your long-term strategies. In a paycheck mentality, you look outside for your incentives because you're looking at externals to motivate you. So your boss sets the paves the way for you, and it's an external thing. Like, you do this, you get vacation. You do this, maybe there's an incentive. But in a profit mentality, it's really your personal goals, and you need to dig in to figure out what your internal motivation is, because that's what makes the difference between a successful entrepreneur and somebody who's working for a paycheck. We like to say that entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Now, I can tell you from my own personal story and my own personal journey that it's been worth everything to delay some gratification and work at my own skill development so that I could have an amazing life that many people wish they had. And our children were beneficiaries by being able to be world schooled and travel all over the world with us and be part of top Ivy League school education that they had afforded to them, because financially we had made some decisions long ago, and we put off the paycheck mentality and put on a profit mentality so that we could move forward. So I gave you some quick things to be thinking about, and I really encourage you to discuss these, where you fall and how to embrace these things into a growth plan for yourself with your sponsor mentor. You got this.